Somebody else came. Come in. I hear a ding dong. Who's there? Okay, so we got the YouTube going. Okay, so welcome to August 11th Hoof Chat. We're going to do a hoof evaluation for somebody I think is a new member of the group. I'll go there here in a second. While I'm setting all that up, I'm going to put up something to share for you to watch. Oh, actually, you know what I had to do? I had to play a rap song. Has everybody heard the rap song? The tact rap? It's pretty cool. It was,
It's awesome.
yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, gotta go find it first. Just a second here. Okay, now I've lost my bar. So just a minute. Okay, there's Zoom. Hi, Aaron. I see you there.
Hi, Linda. This
I
is my
like,
birthday present to me to listen to you today.
hey, happy birthday. Wow. I love your picture. And what do they
Oh,
call your horse was photobombing you.
yeah, yeah. No, I was
That's
posing. That was me
that's
posing.
yeah, posing.
But it was, yeah, that was a cute yawn. He was
Yeah, it
tired after
was.
our trail ride that day.
Aw, that's a cool saddle you got there.
Yeah, it's a treeless saddle. It's called Barefoot, and
Uh-huh.
it's the all-purpose one that you can jump in.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
And it fits my Clydesdale too. And I don't have to change out the tree because he has a narrow, tall wither too.
Ah,
It's crazy.
yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Versatile.
Yes, and it's super
Yes.
comfy and secure. So,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to YouTube. I'm gonna find a rap song and
okay.
play that first thing or theme song. I thought that was so cool. Let's see here. Now, where am I at and what am I doing? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Find my page. What the heck? There we go. Just a second. Might take me just a second here. I don't know why I was having a hard time. It like keeps getting removed from my page, but I know it's on the group page. So let me go there. Let's see here. Okay. Do-do-do-do. Visit. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go to her page and find it. I don't know why it keeps disappearing for me. Okay, just a second. Okay, just a second here. Okay, share. Duh. And it's right here. Now I need to uh advanced do something for the video. You know, it's been uh 6, 7 months since I was doing this. And so I'm not, tell me, I'm gonna put this, oh, here we go. Share sound optimized for video sharing. Okay, there we go. Here we go. We're listening to this and then we'll get to going on a hoof evaluation. Okay. Let me know. Just somebody say, hey, I can hear it when it starts. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Horse.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Horse. Got something to say, it's gotta be said. This misinformation wins horses up dead. Some say frogs should be on the ground, cause it makes a horse walk around sound. Some say heels should be at an angle, but what we see are hooves all mangled. Horses limping, it's always a shame. The reasons they div are crazy insane. His feet are just bad, his breed is to blame. A trim makes him sore, don't know why he's lame. Walking on soles so thin they will split. Coffin bone exposed, better euthanize it. Central sulcus is moved up the back. Contracted heels, just put the shoe on that. What's up there? What's that mush? Oh no, I'm so scared, my horse has got thrush. Can't buy a horse with decent feet, though I got me a vet's horse health receipt. I'm feeding my horse the best grain he is given, but it's getting annoying since my horse can't be ridden. Wouldn't you know it, my horse is still lame. Got a new trimmer, but it happened again. Got the new shoes and bought the new pads. Surfing on YouTube for hoof trimming ads. A wild horse trim, so all natural. Take down those heels, get them bones parallel. 5 million ways to trim a horse hoof. None of them work, so I just put on boots. Trying again, some vets got advice. I'm filing down heels, am I doing it right? Got all the P3s, so parallel now. Heel butchers, what's that? Gotta find out somehow. Gotta take down heels, gotta stand them up high. Make them look wild, but after that they die. Is it just bad luck? Can't afford to blow it. Can't find a trimmer who really just knows it. Tact, yeah, whatever. Too scared to try that. But why don't my trimmer know all about tact? I learned about tact, learned anatomy, learned to do it myself, that was proof for me. We gotta start thinking, gotta learn to reason. Tact is the answer for Shetland and Frisian. Horses recover, heels they mend. No more pain, no more living on meds. Tact, it's the gospel for horse hooves, you'll see. Tact saves lives, Alinda gave it for free. Gotta learn to do that tact, gotta shout it from the heights, gotta teach it to the others. Tact, every horse is right.
Oh, well, stop. Well, that just blew me away, and bless her heart for doing that. That's Cheryl that did that, and I was just so surprised. It was awesome, and that's a problems we have all had. We've all heard all that stuff and experienced. Okay, let's see here. Let me unshare that for a minute, and I'm going to go to the group page, group page, duh, I don't know what I'm doing today. Oh me, oh my, oh, go to the group page. Here we go. My computer's going a little slow. Okay, now share again. Just a minute here. Okay, where did you go? There you are. Share. Okay, I think first we're gonna find this gal's post.
Horse.
Do, 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 do. Okay, so what? Okay. Got all kinds of videos on here. Well, she was here.
Horse.
Do, do, do. If we don't do her, we'll do something else. Somehow I'm missing them. Let me go to comments and see if I can find her. Just a minute. Settings and privacy, activity log. comments. I'm gonna unshare for a minute. Okay. Oh, stop share. There we go. Okay. Just a second here. Do 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 do. Okay. 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 Now I'll share again. Let's see. Where is Zoom? Okay. Here we are. And this is, I always ask people if I can, because it is a private group. I wish it wasn't now because it really stunted our growth. But although maybe no, that was probably the best thing. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. Okay, so this is Maya, and this is what she says here. Now, can you all see this post here? Is everybody seeing it?
One question. I do see like a gray box.
Yeah,
Is it
same
for,
here.
Yeah, me too.
Huh.
it's in the middle of your picture. I saw it already when you, oh, now it's even bigger. Wait a second, maybe it's getting a picture up.
Just a minute here. Let me
Can
undo
you
it.
can you open a picture so we can see if
Yeah.
I mean
Oh, oh,
I
oh.
saw it already when you played the song.
Okay.
I thought it's somehow integrated, but now I think
Is it
it's
doing
still there.
anything?
It's still
Can you,
there. So there's a big gray box in the middle, and then on top there's another gray.
Okay.
So,
well, that's weird because uh huh.
Like you have another window open somehow.
Hmm. Well, just a minute. Let me
but
close some
yeah,
stuff out here. Okay, so I've only
hmm.
got one open. Let me
Hmm.
try and figure out. Let me undo it here. Stop
How
share.
does it look? How does it look when you open a picture and you only see a picture?
When I open it, I see the post.
Yeah. Hmm.
See, I see the post on the Facebook page.
Maybe it's somehow like a security thing from, I don't know. I have never seen this. It's still there.
I never I I can't
Huh.
understand what's going on. Let me try a different one. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Now what do you see?
Yeah.
See,
Still
now I'm on
there.
regular Facebook. Well, this is just weird. Just a minute.
How does it look if you open a picture, if you have only one picture on the screen?
Let me open another Facebook page and see if that changes it.
Oh no, it's
Um,
still there. It's still there, so I can
yeah.
only see
Um,
half of your
let's see.
screen.
Stop. Okay, now let me share. Do, 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 do. Hmm,
It went away on this picture.
it did. Okay. Now what do you see?
It's come back.
Well,
Yeah, still there.
this ain't right. Like what the heck? Um,
But
because
what happens if you do not open Facebook? I mean, if you open a picture on your screen, maybe it's somehow. Oh no, it's still there.
hmm, let me stop. Well, I haven't. Okay, I stopped sharing. Now what do you
Hmm.
see?
Just the picture of the hoof. I mean, with the drawing on it. So your profile picture, I guess.
Okay. Huh. Well, let me try just regular pictures and see what happens. Let me open
Yeah.
just some regular pictures. Huh. That's never done that before,
No,
you
never
know?
seen. Yeah.
I've always been able to share Facebook pictures. Okay, let me open this one and see if you can see it. Let's see, Zoom, share. Now what do you see?
Oh,
Yeah, it's back.
What's
yeah.
back? The gray
The
box?
gray box is, yeah, right in the middle of the picture almost.
Well, see, like it makes me wonder what's going on. Let's see.
I have no idea. I've never seen it before. Like too gray. Oh, now
There,
it's
it went
gone.
away. Whatever you did, it went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I had it optimized for video sharing because I've never shared a video right off the bat like that. And
Hmm.
so now you see the Greek horse and stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Now everything is normal. Yeah.
Everything's
okay.
perfect.
Now we know what it was. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to Facebook. Let's see here. Gotta close everything down. Um, do. Okay. Get on the group page again. Just a second here. Okay, now I'm gonna share again. We'll see how we go. Okay, how's that? Hello?
Everything's good.
Yeah. Looking fine.
Okay. Now I gotta find this gal's deal here, so this is gonna take me another second. I gotta stop share for just a second. Do. Okay. Settings, privacy, activity, um, comments. View. Okay. Okay, here we go. Share again now. Technical difficulties. Okay. Share. Okay, I think we're finally there, I think. Do you see these pictures?
Perfect.
Okay, good deal. All right, so I'm going to read the post, and it says, first picture on the right, or first picture is right front. Top is recent, bottom is a month ago. So here's the recent, here's a month ago. Second picture, gotta be this one here. Second picture is the right hind, so right front, right hind. Top is recent, bottom is a month ago. Okay, the third picture, that'd be this one here. Left is left. This is a month ago, and this is current, recent, recent. And the fourth, that's one's down here. This is where are you at here? Fourth, left here is recent, right is a month ago. And so I was looking at these, and let me save the image so that we can enlarge it and look at it. Do save, open, share. There we go. Okay. So, they're taken at different angles. When you first look at them, I mean, it's hard to tell kind of what's happened here, but when you first look at them small, this foot, the most recent, does look better and stuff. But I don't know, because and here's another thing you can do. Whenever you're looking at one foot like this, always look at the other one on the other side to see what's going on. Okay, so one thing we do know from the growth ring here is that this toe quarter is high. So what we need to do now is look at the front. So like if we look at an anterior frontal view, we'll be able to see. And I think um, because when you look at the sole views, they're both a different shape now too. And so when I look at the toe on this foot, like I may be, because we're heel people, okay, we're drawn to anything that looks like a horse might have heel. All right. Um, but when I look at this foot here, the toe almost looks better than this one here. See? So we know that ain't right there. And that's going to show up on the bottom as the foot being rounder, more than likely, as well as the front view. We're going to see if it's jammed up in the hairline more. So again, these are a month apart and stuff. So, okay, yeah, like see, when I look at this foot, it looks like the toe might have been shaped a little bit better, maybe not exactly like it was. We can also tell that obviously it's a bound foot because the cartilage is pulled down. In both cases, the cartilage is still pulled down. So, okay, so I'm gonna open up the other pictures so that we can compare these and read these feet according to vertical horn, no, yeah, vertical horn tubules and horizontal growth rings, and also looking at the hairline here. And again, the cartilage, things like that, the shape of the foot when we look at the bottom. You have to be able to look at the top up here, and that also tells you a lot about what the bottom may be looking like. Another thing I see here is look at this. Always look at this. Okay. Notice how this goes kind of down like that. See there? But this one is pretty darn straight. See there? So if I had been doing this foot, all right, I would come in here and I would take this definitely take this down here and then bevel. See, so that this wasn't bearing weight and getting ready to flare. So we got to remember that. Always look when you're done with your trim, always look at the quarters here and stuff because it should look straight. Otherwise, and even if it's a little bit scooped, a little more bevel here and stuff like that, that's good. Because you don't want this bearing a lot of weight right here because it's going to grow out, and then if it keeps bearing weight, it'll jam up here. And so, and if you have a bare foot, like when I say barefoot, I mean a foot without the capsule on it, and you set it down on the ground and you look at it from the side, it looks straight here. It doesn't have a dip like that. That always shows you're high. You have left the quarters and this area high, usually clear on right up here, because part of this is your toe quarter. Your toe quarter, your quarter here, and your heel. So, okay, let me undo this here. Let's get the other. We know from the get-go that all these horses need their heels grown in. all of their feet need to be unbound. Usually pretty much all of their cartilages are like this. See? When they should be at least like that. So that's just a given because they all trim the heels out. All the farriers, okay? You might find 1 point like 0.01% or something like that that maybe don't. But even if they don't know they're trimming the heels out, they are trimming the heels out because all the farriers do the same thing. They bring the heels back to frog height. And then they put, and I've been noticing something too, is they'll put wedge pads on to elevate the heels. And then once the horse gets moving and the heels start growing, a lot of them wind up trimming the heels out again. And I understand that methodology there because I've done that before too, back when I was barefoot trimming and I wanted to fix run forward heels. I thought, okay, I'm going to grow it up, grow the heels, and then when the heels are grown and I got my horn tubules straightened out, I'll trim the heels back down. Because this image is put in people's heads. See that there? Now we are looking more for this image, but also here's a difference. This foot was taken more from a side profile to where you don't have as much toe in the front. This picture, she was a little forward. So it's going to make the heel look higher than it is because you got more toe in there. See, you got all this toe you're seeing here. And in this one, you're maybe seeing like maybe this much of it. If that. This is very good. It's a pretty good side profile shot. You could still come back this way more to get it a little bit more side profile and so we have to take that into consideration too, the angle, because it will deceive us and we will think, oh, this foot's so much better when it may not be. It could just be the angle of the camera. Let's see here. Let me undo this. Okay, so come on. All right. So I'm going to copy another picture over here. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at the front view. Now, I think, because have you ever noticed how all they ever look at pretty much in farriery and barefoot trimming is a sole view? Does anybody else notice that? You see sole views all the time. And I think sole views can sometimes be the most deceptive. And you're not seeing the whole rest of the foot. So let's go ahead and look at the next picture to tell us the truth of what's going on. Then we'll combine that with what we see in the solar view. So I'm going to save this next one. This will be anterior view, frontal. Let's see, open file. Okay, share. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now, okay, so when we looked, this is the most recent here, and this was a month ago, right here. So again, we can see that on both of the feet, like on this side, not as bad. Now this was the right front. So let's see here. What would be medial? What would be lateral? Okay, so this over here is lateral, I do believe. Let's see. Yeah. And this is the medial. Okay, just a minute. And I want to bring up that foot there. Just a second. Hold on. I need to, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a screenshot of both of them together so we can compare here in a second. Okay, just a minute. We'll do this. Oops. We'll do the most recent. Because remember, when we were looking at the most recent, you could see that growth ring that dipped high up. And that's going to give you a round or a square toe. You're not going to have the toe shaped in the oval shape it's supposed to be on. And also, if your heels are trimmed out, and you have the false heel and the uh, compressed cartilage, bent cartilage, um, that's that's going to make your foot round too. And the reason it's going to make your foot round, let me just a second, let me get a quick shot of this. Hold on. See, this is all 3D, 3D twice. Plus it grows. Plus each thing, the inner foot can be distorted and moved, and the outer capsule grows. So you're actually dealing with, to see, 3D outside, inside. I mean, we're dealing with like a 15D object here we're trying to figure out. All right, let's see here. Let me get the picture. Okay, come here. New. Okay, so now we'll share that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's in the wrong spot, that little thing there, because I marked it on the other screen. But anyway. Okay, so this is the lateral side over here. And again, what we can see a couple things here. First of all, we know that this is going to be jammed up here because, okay, when you look at a real foot, an inner foot that isn't deformed, just a minute here. Okay, the hairline is not straight across like this. The hairline should go like this. Like that. And we know when you see this growth ring here, right here, and right here. Okay, now this is all going to put pressure on the inner foot. And another thing too, I'm seeing a line right here that wants to be a quarter crack. So that's another thing besides the cartilage being curled down like that tells us the heels have been trimmed out. When the heel buttress is trimmed out, there's no stability for the wall. And so it will push all these horn tubules forward, and it looks like it's pushing forward right here. In fact, there's even, it looks like there might even be a little bulge here. And it looks like it wants to crack right there. Okay, so all we're doing is we're reading the foot. And so but let's keep going. Let's undo all this stuff here just a minute. Let's keep going and let's see what else is manifesting that not only because the heels are trimmed out and everything is being forced forward this way. Okay, because like this here, this horn tubule here should be more back here. See? All right, so it's not too bad because we've all seen them where they'll grow clear up into here, you know, things like that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna get the next picture in there. We're gonna look at everything first before we look at the sole. Okay, so we know anytime you see that, you can pretty much be assured that, well, hey, one thing I've learned is you don't want to ever say every single time it's this way, because these feet have distortions, different versions of distortion that looks like the same thing. And so just about the time you think you got it down, one's going to come along and fool you. Okay, so let's look at another one of the pictures. Let's see here. Doop, 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 doop. Go back to Facebook. Okay, so we got the anterior view, frontal view, lateral view, and we're going to look at, oh, well, I guess what we do have is now, yeah, we need to look at the sole view now, because one of the sole views she had was a rear foot. So we want to look at this. We can now look at the sole view of the front foot. Let's see. Let me make sure. First picture, right front, top is recent, bottom is a month ago. Okay. So I'm going to save the image here. Okay, and we'll look at the foot from a month ago as well. Let's see, open file. Okay, share. Okay, so we want to flip them over. Although it does pay to look at them both ways, but I like to, flip them over so that they will be how I was looking at it if I was trimming it. Okay, now remember I said it's going to make a square toe? It can make a round foot, but it can make a square toe. So she's got, look here, she's got more of a round toe, okay, which the toe is not square and the toe is not round either way. The toe is oval. So right here is where a lot of people, all of us, I think, have had difficulty in learning how to trim this area. Just a minute here. Learning how to trim this area here, okay, to make it so that it fits the foot. We're going to look at some inner feet so we can get that image in our head. Because the foot levels out, okay, the foot has a self-leveling system in it. That's why it jams up like it does. Okay, if you leave the wall high and see, what can happen is, okay, we're not good at exfoliating and dealing with the sole for one thing. And then if you leave the wall, if like you could look level to you. All right, but it could actually be thinner on one side and thicker on another. And you don't even know it, because your foot could also actually be rasped flat. And by flat, I don't mean the whole thing flat, but I mean you could have your wall pretty much rasped flat here and even a little bit of sole or something like that. Or if you left it a little longer, what happens is this side will jam up because the foot wants to be level, wants this wall level so that the joints aren't walking, cockeyed and crooked and things like that. So there is a self-leveling system within the foot that kind of helps us when we're not perfect, and stuff. But it helps the horse in the well too, kind of to self-level out. Let's go back and look at that. Let's think about how the hoof wall itself has a self-leveling system to a point. To a point. So let's see. And so we're reading that. When we read this other stuff, we're looking at this self-leveling that this foot is trying to do. Now, hold on here a second, because, okay, do you see how the toe is square here? This is a month later from here. Okay, So we're not seeing a fresh trim though in all the aspects that it was done. Sometimes just beveling the toe, not taking the toe quarters down enough, and then beveling the toe more will also make the toe square on the sides. Okay, so this is, see, I'm glad we chose to do this foot because this is an interesting foot in that it shows the two different ways that the toe can be that where both of them are wrong. But also you have a situation going on where the heels have been trimmed out. I mean, you can tell because they're curled in. Let's look at this. See how it's round? Okay, this heel's curling in this way. I can't really see it right here. I think it's right here. Okay, this is actually pretty curled in right there. Like that. Pointing this way when it's supposed to be pointing this way. Like that. Okay, so what happens is when the heel buttresses get trimmed out, they stabilize the whole back of the foot and the wall. Because this wall is thin. All right, that's not very thick. All right, it's a shell. And you have a 1,200-pound horse in there exerting, I don't know how many times that's timed, like, per pound per inch, the pressure that it all goes down into in a foot. Like they did this experiment of a woman in a high heel, how much all of that weight condenses down into that little bitty heel you got on high heels, and it is quite substantial. And so a horse, okay, all that weight condensing down into these little feet. So there's a lot of pressure there. There's a lot of pressure on this shell here. That's why oh man, I seen a video of a guy. I probably won't share it today, but he's a farrier, and I feel sorry for him. Well, okay, I don't really. Okay, I'm sorry. But I should. Okay, I should. Actually, I just watching him made me angry, and I shouldn't be angry at him because he's just doing what he knows to do. But this guy had to be the worst um hoof wall rasper I have ever seen. And man, he thinks he is doing a bang up job. And he was taking off so much wall. It was absolutely shocking. And he was so positive and everything. And the way that I got involved with his first video that ran through my timeline, because they send me all these videos now that and was he's talking about how some horses get hard to trim and how you got to get your vet to drug them. And he's sitting there with the horse that's drugged. Okay, now early on, I started seeing and hearing stories of horses that were formerly docile, manageable, easy to trim, getting hard to trim for these farriers. That's because they're trimming the feet out of them. They're ruining and distorting their feet. And these horses aren't stupid. Okay. After so many times, when that farrier comes and does that, especially this guy, and he admitted he had a lot of horses that needed sedated. And the first time I ever heard of somebody doing that was Cheryl Henderson with ABC Hoof Care. That's when me and her started parting ways. Okay, first of all, she had a trimmer that went and trimmed a bunch of horses at a stable. And then at that time we had email groups, Yahoo email groups and Google email groups. And so I was a member of that group, and this is like around 2011, 10, 11. And so there was this one gal that she had trained to be a trimmer. And so this gal said, "Hey, I've trimmed horses for this stable." Like she trimmed 8 or 9 horses. And when she left, over the next several days, they all came up lame. And one of them colicked because he couldn't go to water. Okay, so the owner was not happy. All right, and all Henderson could say was, "Well, don't give them their money back." See, and after that, she was coming up with these deals like how to get the vet to sedate your horse to get a trim done. She talked about blindfolding horses and about sedating them with drugs. Okay. And there was one lady there. I'm going to see if I can find the article because this lady had a blog, and she talked about how her horse was a really nice horse, really gentle, and she was doing that trim. Because see, I did that trim too, but I quit after a certain period of time when I started seeing some of this stuff was just bizarre. And so, but I was still trimming the heels out of horses. I know better. Okay. So, but this other lady, she did a whole blog on how her horse got so you could not trim him. He would not let you pick up his feet. He'd fight you. And, I don't know if anybody else has heard of stories like that, but I've heard of quite a number of them. Okay, so anyway, so in these 2 feet, we can tell that this is pretty much false heel. So here's something that you look for. When the heels are curled in like this and you got the false heels, and because if you ain't got that extended cartilage atop there, you have heels that are trimmed out. That's just the way it is. Okay. And so one of the things that happens is when you trim the heels out, they curl, they get pulled down, the cartilage gets pulled down like that, but then the coronary band and the heels also at the same time curl in, like so. Um, and when they do this, there's no stability back here in what's supposed to be the heel buttress. And so this thin wall here gets pushed forward, and it'll bulge out and look round. And the first thing you'll start seeing, I mean, I don't see it here, but I know it's here, is you will have separation in the white line in the quarters. You could start noticing at how many horses have separation in the white line at the quarters. Why is that? Because this hoof shape is not the shape of the foot. Feet aren't round, and these walls are being pushed out this way, and they're rounding out here. And then also, if you leave these toe quarters high, well, then that rounds out there. See, if you were to like trim this down, like rasp this part of the toe down, then you would see it start to take the true shape of the foot, which would be, let me get a different color here, which would be, see if I can draw it, maybe more like this. Not that thin, but more like this. That'd be the shape. That's more the shape of the coffin bone there. Like that, see? And so this would be too wide in here. Kind of come over. And in the back, even more spade shape on the sides of the toe. So that's another thing we always look at. See, it would be good to go through and make a list of what to look at. Let's see here. Okay, so again, when the heels are trimmed out, okay, first of all, this foot also, the frog here will be shoved forward. One good thing about this foot is it hasn't got big, huge, heavy bars that are shoved forward, so that's good. But these bars still need to be, this needs to be cleaned up right here. This corner right here needs to be cleaned up. So she got a good thing going for her here in that she ain't got no big, heavy, distorted bar clear up into here and stuff. So And also on this foot, of course, if we were going to trim it, one thing we would do, of course, we're just looking at right now, we're just looking at the manifestations of the distortion and why they're distorted. Okay, so again, you trim the heels out, what's it do? It pulls the cartilage and the bulbs and the coronary band down. And then as the horse's foot tries to stand up again, then he pulls his heels in this way. And as he does so, let's see here. Okay, so I get this concept. See, we got to get this concept. Here's a foot. Here's your basic shape of the foot. Okay, don't mind that. Here's the basic shape of the foot. When you trim the heels out to try and make that foot, okay, this foot up here gets forced down to the ground. Okay, now it still wants to sit up here where it sets. And so over within days, it is going to, the pull, the pressure to pull up is going to take this piece of wall here that is attached to it. Okay, wait a minute. And it is, I should have drawn it down here. I'm stupid. It's going to take this and it's going to pull. Okay, you're pulling it down, right? It's going to take this piece of wall here, right here, and it's going to pull it around behind like that. And as it does so, it's going to take now this, of course, this looks higher than it should, but what it'll do is it'll take the longer part of the wall here, okay, and it winds up, when you look at the side of the foot, this is what you're going to see on the side, because it takes the higher part of the wall here, it turns it around, and it makes it into the heel. And then your cartilage is, all this is pulled around and shoved under the foot. And then this higher part here becomes the heel. And that's why people think these horses have high heels. And then, of course, you get hoof growth, right? You get growth of the wall here. And so then this becomes what they think is the heel. But in reality, all of this part here was, first of all, trimmed out, forced down, and as the foot tried to stand up, it pulled this wall around and in, like what you see down here. See, here's the heel buttress right here. Right here. And this shouldn't be that curled in like that. And this foot should not be round like you see here. And these toe quarters should not be round. And so then, let me undo this. Let's see. And here's the newest foot. You know, she just went from, and another thing that happened is the heels curled in even more. Here's another thing I just noticed. Look at the difference here. What I'm going to do is I want to take these and separate them so that we can see them side by side. This is interesting. Okay. I got to go into paint to do that. So hold on a second here. I'll put this down here for you to look at. I want you to look at how these heels got curled in even more, because I'm going to show you some heels. It could be that these heels got trimmed down and turned into these heels here. Okay, because I don't think this gal has been with tack very long. You know, but this foot here, it's in the process of going, not coming. Like I have this deal. Look, you could look at the same foot. If a person is doing tack, I say, and they're growing heels, that foot is in the process of coming back to what it's supposed to be. with heels and the cartilage released and the frog where it's supposed to be and the shape of the foot and the whole thing. If you could have the same exact foot, but if the person is not doing tact, I call it a going foot. I'll say, okay, this person trims this way, this is their beliefs, this is the way the foot's going to respond. Yeah, they're going, they're not coming. See, you understand that concept that we are not just reading a foot. We're not reading a foot, reading the trim, we're reading the trimmer. See, we're reading the method that has been applied to that horse and why that horse is that way, and how if they keep doing that, we know where it's going. Okay, and this is a perfect example of that because here all she has is the heels are being pulled down and they're rounded and stuff, but by the time you get over to here, they have, well, look here, let me draw. Do, 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 do. Oh. Okay, here you got this. See there on both sides. Here you got that. And it comes around here and it curls in like that. And I'll show you another horse that has that here. See what I mean right here? See how that is curled in a different way and more than this here? See? Can you guys see that? The difference? I'm going to put them side by side so you can really see what happened since the last trim. In only a month, what has happened to this foot? Now, it's interesting that it's also narrower here. This foot is narrower than this one. This one was, rounder here. This one's narrower. And again, we're also looking at the toe. The toe here is squared, while this one is round. And again, both toes are not correct. Well, you know, if, yeah, I don't know. They're not because we're looking at the sole. See, if you're just looking at the wall, it's one thing. If you look at the sole as well, it's another. So you want to kind of look at both. Let's see here. Okay, so the sole is square too. See that? Okay, so horses' feet aren't square and horses' feet aren't round. Okay.
Linda,
Yeah.
so I'm a little confused because when I look at these 2 feet and it only being 1 month, it's like something's not correct here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this is the same foot, to be honest. When I'm looking at this, my brain is not equating this being the same foot in
Mm-hmm.
1 month.
Yeah. I know that's how much, but that's how much they can change. See, it's just like, um, okay, I can show you 2 feet, my own horse's feet, that when I started realizing that they got frog bound and bound by the periopal, and I trimmed all of it off. Now, you only do that if you have a capsule, you've been growing a capsule on a horse. Okay, you don't just do what I did in that experiment uh, to see if the cartilages would release. And in 3 days, it was a whole different foot. And it's the same with this one gal that this was several years ago, and we use this example a lot, which I'm going to show you here in a bit, about how she trimmed her friend's horse, and he was a wild horse. He was a adopted horse, and he had feet just like our tack mascot. Uh, oh God, what's that horse's name? I'm trying to remember now and stuff. It's not Clarence. I can't remember, but anyway, belongs to Sharon Shield Reynolds. He belonged to my neighbor. He adopted him, which, oh, yeah, that's another thing. BLM adoption here again. Ugh. I'm going to go watch all the killer bears, harass them. But anyway, um, uh, these feet can change dramatically in a very short period of time. See, but I understand. Yeah, it doesn't look like same foot at all, does it?
Yeah, because in 1 month that apex looks like it's changed so much.
Yeah, and here you can tell there was moisture. See how the periopal's white? Okay, and here, uh, there's no moisture, and so the frog has shrunk up some.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is the same foot. Let's see here. Okay, what am I doing here? All right, so I want to take this picture and I want to put it in paint and put these two pictures side by side so we can really see what happened to the heels. And then I'm going to show you the pictures of the horse that this gal trimmed the heels totally out of and how that horse made, okay, that's what I was going to say. And I didn't say it about how this horse, this wild horse, this adopted wild horse had a foot like our mascot, whose name I can't remember now. Um, and she totally took the heels out. And so I was freaking out, I said, what about, I was worried about his tendons and everything like that, because she misunderstood what we do. And so when people do that, I feel responsible. And so I was worried about the horse. And I said, well, please take pictures. Well, she comes back to group the next week. And that horse, we saw that horse make his own heels in 3 days. And so I got the sole view too, and you're going to see how the heels curled in just like this. See? So this horse's heels were taken down and they curled in more. They're already curling in here. See? They're pointing in too much this way. But here, now, they're really in. Also, they're pushing in, I think, more. They're pushing in right here into the frog more. Narrower from here to here. So contracting. And it's lowering the heels that gets the heels to contracting. And that's what lowering heels does. And yep. And here's another thing too. This is something to remember when they're trimming the heels out, the next time you come back, because you have, let's see if I can explain it. Okay, let's do a foot here. Okay, this horse has already had some heel trimmed out here, as you can tell. Okay, when you trim the heel out, well, let's see. Just a second here. See, these feet are so deceptive. Obviously not on purpose, but okay. So here's a foot. Okay, so they come in, they take this much heel. Let's say right there. Well, here's the thing. Originally, this heel or this foot had these horn tubules in alignment, like so. And this is the angle of these horn tubules, you see? But when you trim the heel out and it lowers the foot down, let's see, maybe I wonder if there's any, it'll erase the whole thing if I do that. Pretty sure. Yeah, see there? Erases the whole thing. Okay, so then when you come in and, oh, come here, just a second here. And you trim out, let's say this much. It's going to set this foot down. Okay. And it's going to change the angle of these. Now these will be angled. However much you took off here is going to change the angle here. See? Now all these are growing forward. Okay. And so, and the heel itself, you've set it at more of an angle too. So the horse is landing more on his heel here, and because you've changed the angle of these horn tubules, I should have just gone like that, to be like this instead of this, then it is going to, first of all, pull this down and shove it forward. But at the same time, just a minute here. At the same time, I'm going to get rid of this here. At the same time, it's growing. Okay, this area is growing. And again, what does it also do? It's going to take this part of the foot and it's going to wrap it around behind the foot. It's going to pull the cartilages down, and then as it wraps this part around the back of the foot and makes the false heel, just a second here. Wonder if I can do this. Makes the false heel. Let's just pretend this all wrapped around the back of the foot there. Okay, so now when you look at the foot and you don't even realize it happened, okay, now this has become what you think is the heel. But at the same time, what has happened, it's been a month, it's been 6 weeks, okay, the foot is growing. This is being pulled down like so and shoved forward, and it's growing at the same time. So because two things are happening, let's say you came in and you left it flat. It was flat from heel, or from from toe to heel. All right, but when you come back, because it's pulled the foot down, it pulls it down and it wraps it around the back at the same time. Okay, and so it's going to pull these cartilages down too, and it's going to also shove them forward. So it doesn't just pull them down, it wraps them around and shoves everything forward. See, if it was originally like this, now your cartilage is up here, and this heel here is wrapped around, and your hoof capsule's smaller. But because not, well, here, wait a second here. Because, let me get rid of this. Hold on. Okay. Just a second here. Go back to red. Okay, so your foot was out here, but now it's like this. Okay. And so because not only because it's pulled down, has it made the heel area higher, but because it grows, it has done that too. And so then what you have is you have this number. You have a hook here. It doesn't grow out at the same rate and same level because you've pulled this down. You've the weight of the horse is shoving it forward and the growth, and you come back and there's a hook here. It's not flat like you left it. And I can look at this foot down here and see that is exactly what happened here. She's got a hook. This part right here is higher than the quarter. And I guarantee you, probably the trim before that, they took it down to the hard sole plane. All right. Because what happens is the hard sole plane moves because as you trim these heels down and this whole mechanical situation, structural distortion happens, the sole that was in the real heel that was back here is now trimmed out, covered up, and not growing. And instead, see the original sole on this foot here would have been clear back here, clear back in here. And so this foot is being gradually trimmed out and the heels are moving forward. And so as they do, they cover up the sole that's in here. And you get a new hard sole plane right here. That's why when these people come back, and I don't say just these people because I did it too, of course, you find flaky sole in the seed of the corn when there's hardly any flaky sole a lot of times anywhere else, except there's always exception to the rule. Here's another thing that happens. Okay, so you have, let's see, the horse's foot here, and it's a certain size. This is the sole. Here's your wall. This is another thing you want to look for too. This is how bars look. They aren't offset. In other words, the wall comes around and goes right into the bar. It's not supposed to be like this. You'll see this a lot. Something like that. See, that it's not supposed to be like that. That's a trimmed out heel. Okay, so here's the size of your sole. And at the bottom of your foot, the sole corium grows that sole. Okay. And so let's say this was a perfect size capsule for the foot, fit the foot. This is the sole. It's got all these little sole tubules, growing sole there. Okay, we gotta have our frog in there. Okay, but you're trimming the heels out, and so the heels are moving forward. Okay, the heel that was here just a minute here is now here. Okay, so look at this was sole right here, right? Yeah, it's sole growing right here. This is true seed of the corn. Well, what is this? We got here. This deceives people and they think, oh, this is the true seed of the corn right here. But no, the true seed of the corn was right here. But because you have trimmed the heels out and they've pulled forward and they've bent the inner foot, they're making this whole capsule smaller. What happens when you make this smaller? Well, it takes the sole that was there and the foot that was there, and it starts squeezing it and compressing it. And then what happens? Then they'll come in and they'll start seeing what they think is lots of exfoliatable sole. Well, it's not that it was supposed to be exfoliatable. It's that when you reduce the size of the capsule, it squeezed the inner foot and it squeezed the original sole on that foot that was there, and it's forcing it out. and it's growing new sole. And another thing that happens is you got all these little tubules that grow this sole, and you only got so many, and they're spaced apart a certain way. And so as the capsule gets smaller, it starts squeezing them all together. And so where they might have been spaced like this, now they're getting like this. See, and this is all causing damage and compression and inflammation. See, and you'll see the soles get brown. A lot of in a black or gray foot, you don't, well, you can still see it in those feet, but especially in a white foot, you see that brown show up a lot, and that is blood from all the little capillaries and veins and things that are in between the capsule and the foot. And so let's go back over here to this foot. So the next time you come to trim, you find that there's a little hook here. And there's also seems to be an arch in the foot. See, now when you left it, you rasped it back and it was flat. You might have, yes, you might have beveled the wall. And even if you purposely kind of, relaxed the quarter, or, made sure credit card could slip under it or whatever, like some of them do. Again, because this gets pulled down and grows, you come back and there is a hook here. So what does the trimmer do? The trimmer comes in and, let's see, I really wanted to get a thicker deal, but comes in and trims this off again up to here. And usually, okay, and anyway, then this grows again, it pulls down forward again. Okay, it changes, this is going to change the angle of the horn tubules again to where they are going to be at even more of an angle, because this is gonna go forward more here too. So there's going to be more of an angle, and the same thing is going to happen. Okay, it's going to pull, it's going to shove the horn tubules, the heels forward more. It's going to pull the capsule down more, and when the person comes back again, it's going to be more like this, and there's going to be a hook. See how the foot is getting smaller? Start out back here. But that is all from what happens when people trim the heels out. And so as you're seeing these feet all over the internet, the before trim pictures that they show and the videos, start looking for this hook. You start looking for that hook, and you start looking for frogs that get, like, I don't see it as much here, but what you'll start seeing is these frogs get bent right here. You'll start seeing frogs bent up because, see, it's creating that false concavity of the foot. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. So I'm going to show you, well, first I need to separate these pictures so we can see them side by side. So hold on a second. Let's see. I'm going to put them in paint so that we can, and remove the background so we can really see the difference here. And then show you pictures that have heels just like this one here, to where they are bent in that badly. Let's see here. Open paint. Okay, Zoom, screen share. Okay. So I'm so glad they changed paint and they made it so you can remove the background. Most of it. Most of it anyway. Oh, just a second. Then make them resize them as well. Okay, here we go. Ah. Okay. Wow, that is you know, you can see why Linda said those feet look like two totally different feet, don't they? It's amazing how fast these feet can change. Let's see. And I would think they were different feet if it weren't for the fact that I've seen feet do this and seen them change that much. And that's because these hooks were trimmed off. And I can show you on the side view, because I mistook this the other day too, how the foot, the side view, the lateral view of this foot here, the month before, you can see the hook in the heel. I'll show you here in a second. Let me get the rest of this off. Oh, wait a minute. We will remove the thumb. Okay, let's see. Okay. We're gonna resize, make them a little bigger. Aha, there we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you the side view of this foot. Ah, yeah. Because I seen somebody else's foot the other day and I thought, oh, they put a hook in it, but it wasn't. It might even have been you, Linda. Maybe not. I don't know. But I was looking at somebody else's foot the other day and I thought, oh, they put a notch in it. Okay, let's look at this foot here just a second. I'll take a I'm going to go ahead and put that with our other feet here. Okay, just a second. See, you always learn something. Just like the other day, I was looking at that foot. I'm pretty sure it was you, Linda, and I was looking at your horse's foot, and I thought, oh, she put a notch, but it wasn't a notch. It was a hook. Okay, that means it's that the the heel grew because of the shape of the foot. The heels grow, and then they create a hook in the heel. And so our tendency is to want to trim that off. Okay, but I can show you from self-trimming horses that they don't just trim off those hooks on their heels and flatten the foot out. Let's see here. Copy. Okay, we're going to move these over here. We're going to add this. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'm going to put it back the way it was. Just a minute. You got to be able to see that. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, can you see this right here? Just a minute. Can you see that right there? Well, just a second, because I don't have a very good
Yep, I see it.
pointer. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Uh, do you remember seeing that on your horse? Did I mention that? Did I say something about, oh, it looks like you made a notch?
And
And then
I actually did. I took,
oh, okay.
yep, and you're right, you did. And I'm looking at those pictures that you sent me now of
Uh-huh.
Hal's feet, and sure enough, I can see that little notch. Yep.
Okay. So what people do when they see something like that, like regular trimmers, they're just going to take it off. You understand? So I think, like, she's not here that I know. I don't think so. Um, I gotta go back and look at her name. Um, uh, and I'm not sure if she's trimming or somebody else is trimming. So, there are details I don't know here. And uh, so I can tell there's a hook here that this heel is raised. And and you can also look at the angle of it. See? Okay, doop doop. I need a different color to show up here. Oh, well, just annotate. There you go. Okay, so you can see the angle of the heel anyway, so it's going to be prone to want to run forward anyway. And so if then this is already like this, and they came in here and took this off, like so, even more, that's going to set the horse down. And of course, people commonly take these heels off clear to here. That's substantial. On this foot here, just a minute. This would be substantial. See, for years, a number of years, I would always take the heel. And here's another thing, look for these periopal flaps. See that flap there? Okay. Usually they don't have flaps unless they're coming or going. Okay. Um, uh, when I trimmed the heels out of my horse, he would have these flaps and it would make the heels look higher, like they'd really grown. But in reality, they were just being bent under and the periopal that was attached was coming loose. And so I would just keep taking these heels down to the periopal flap. And that was I don't know if it was a Strasser thing, but it was a Cheryl Henderson thing. And she would measure the heels from the hairline to the tip of the heel at 1 1/8 inch. And she said that this was a constant, that the periopal flap was always there, so that you could use the periopal flap as a constant to tell where to trim the heels to. And the thing about it is a constant. It constantly will, the periopal will constantly release up to there because that's where your inner foot ends, is right there. So every time you take those heels down, you're taking it down to about where the inner foot ends. Well, you don't want heels to be right at where the inner foot ends. You want the heels to be an inch longer than that. And so this heel here is not only has grown some, but the internal foot has lifted up, it's released this periopal, so you got a flap, and it's bent under. So now you have this hook that is higher than the quarter. And so they will come in and cut that down, and that just weakens the whole thing even more, takes more of the heel out. And so what we have over here is a massive false heel that developed. See, it's shaped like this now instead of like this. It's shaped like this. Like it really pulled this horse's heels in like this. So we're going to go look at that horse now to show you how this happens. See, if we didn't do all these hoof chats and people didn't share all this stuff, I wouldn't know it all. I wouldn't know this stuff. I don't know it all, that's for sure. But I would not know these things. See, I recognize that. And if we hadn't done this hoof chat, I probably wouldn't have looked so closely. There's something about us just getting together and being under the gun to have to perform. Yeah, I thought that was funny. That's what it feels like here. You know, oh God, I hope I can think of words to say. Um, so, but this like live learning, you learn as you share and stuff. So let's see. Okay. So let's go look at these other feet here. Just a second here. Hold on. Get over there. Okay. Pictures. Cartilage. A, B, C. B, C. Cartilage. Correct foot. Coffin bone. Chester. That's that horse's name. Chester. Okay, so cartilage, here we go. Working on it. Okay, I gotta get bigger pictures here. Just a second here. Now, to remember how this happens, okay, let's look at this real quick. Share. There we go. Okay, so here is a foot that's been taken out of a capsule, and when they're taken out of the capsule, they relax because the back part of the foot, see why people could get deceived looking at this foot. They go, oh, well, look, a 30-degree hairline. Well, the only reason it seems to have a 30-degree hairline is, first of all, look, I'm not holding the leg up the way it's supposed to. It's not in the capsule. This is all cartilage and soft tissue, and so this falls down. Okay, but right here you can see the depth of this heel here. And the capsule did not look like this at all. This hairline in the capsule is clear up here, and the whole back of the foot supported. This was really, truly a pretty good foot. So now this is with the skin off. This is with the skin on, and this is with the skin off, because see, I've taken the skin off of the leg and off of the foot. Here the skin is on the leg, and look at this, same color, right? This is just skin. And I know all you guys know that, but see, I need to repeat that in case somebody else is watching. Okay, so, and this is the skin. Okay, look where the coffin bone ends. So this here, this cartilage, and inside is digital cushion, just fat. Okay, this thing deforms very easily. It has to have a specific configuration. This is your heel right down here. That is the heel. When all that skin is on, you got the heel. And what's really interesting in all these farrier books and anatomy books, when they show the lateral cartilage, they never show it as being part of the heel, because when you remove the skin, you don't see the true form of what it really looks like. And so they'll show the lateral cartilage clear up in a weird place and stuff like that. But no, this is your heel right down here. It's your heel. Okay, so again, this is the foot without the skin, and you see that the coffin bone ends right here, right in here. Okay, so this is all movable. It can contract, it can be shoved out wide. See, so the ideal foot has a huge heel buttress. The coronary band is up here, not down here. But this is what it does. Okay, because this is curved, it not only gets pulled down, but remember how I was saying it, yeah, it pulls that cartilage down, but then it curls in like that, just like that. And so if you look here, the sole would be, well, the sole would be right in here. The seat of the corn is right in here. And of course, the heel buttress is growing back here. And so the seat of the corn is right here. Well, you can see how it can get curled up, and it curls right up over that sole, and that sole is like grass. And when those little papillae that grow the sole in the seed of the corn get covered up by the hoof, the hoof wall, and things like that, it quits growing, and then your new seed of the corn is up here. And you may be trimming to the hard sole plane, but the true sole is not even growing there. As well, originally it was always called the live sole plane, not the hard sole plane. Jamie Jackson, not knowing what it was, renamed it hard sole plane, and that's why all those trimmers call it hard sole plane, because that was a term he came up with. Not that you can, hey, somebody wants to come up with another term to a degree, that's fine, all right, but it was live sole plane. And when I asked one of those trimmers about that, they didn't even know what live sole plane was. But in old farrier terms, going way back when, it was called the live sole plane, because it's the waxy sole. It hasn't grown and been able to exfoliate yet. Okay, so here you see how your foot can become smaller, because this can curl right around in like that. Let's do this again. There you go. Look at that. That'd be your full foot, full size foot. What are you? My dog's over here choking. I'm like, what are you doing? What have you been eating? Yeah, don't be rolling over on your back. Okay. Okay, so there we go. And here you see how it all can happen. Okay, so let's see here. Let me show you something real quick here. Let's see. Dum dum dum. Go down here. Because this is a good example of just that. Okay. That pretty much all of you should have seen this. You know, this was a gal that was in Sweden that I helped. This was clear back in 2017. And I, at that time, did have no clue really what was going on. I knew horses need heels, but I didn't know their feet were bound like this. Um, and so you can really see it. And you see how that corresponds to just what I showed you on the inner foot with the cartilage, and how the cartilage gets pulled down, curled in. And looky here, we have a horse that made false heel for himself. Now, the great thing that happened to this horse was his dorsal wall never became disconnected from the coffin bone to where he went into full-blown mechanical laminitis, like a lot of them do when you're trimming out the heels and they're making false heels. And this is why people, if they were to take an x-ray of this foot, they would see the coffin bone on its tiptoe, because when you take all this anatomy and you shove it forward into that coffin joint, it tips it up, it rotates it. And a lot of times when it rotates that inner foot, okay, then the dorsal wall itself will become disconnected from it. It will be forced forward while the foot rotates back. And this is mechanical laminitis caused from this. Now, I know that grass can cause mechanical, not mechanical, well, it's all mechanical no matter what, because stuff's coming apart. Okay. But I know that grass can cause laminitis, but trimming these horses' feet into a specific shape can cause them to fall apart as well due to structural mechanics. Okay. So again, this foot, if the wall, the dorsal wall had not held on and the lamina had not stayed together, there would have been separation and a laminar wedge. Okay, so when this foot straightened out, when it started growing more capsule, okay, then what happened? Then it released the foot, and look how the wall is not as steep as it was here. Okay, I'm trying to think where I have an example. See, I need to make up some more examples and some more samples, physical samples to show this, how this happens mechanically. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to this. Okay. Share. Okay. Here we go. Just a minute though. Let me find the foot it should have been. Here we go. Now, these two horses are just practically conformationally identical, okay, as far as the leg and the pastern and what the foot should be like. All right, they're both adopted wild horses. Only this horse here, this is the horse I said the gal totally trimmed the heels out of. That'd be like as if I came up to this horse here and took this much foot out. Okay, even more. Okay, look where the cartilage is, the nice extension of the cartilage, nice and straight. This horse had that originally. And now look at how it's pulled down. Look at the hairline up here. And now the hairline's down here. In fact, this part of the bulb is completely under the foot. Now, and you can look at the horn tubules too. They were pretty much in alignment. All right. So when I saw this, I was freaking out, thinking, oh, we're going to get blamed for this. This horse going to go lame, blow a tendon, do something. Um, Now, for a long time, I thought this was a front foot. It was actually a rear foot. Okay, this is a front foot over here. This is a rear foot. First of all, I'm going to tell you that the front feet are affected 10 times as worse than the rear feet when the heels are trimmed out. That is why you will see so many of these horses who have laminitis, separation of the lamina, rotation, laminar wedge in the front feet and not in the hind feet. And this horse here, let me go back to, I'm in the same thing here. Just a second here. This horse here, this is a rear foot, perfect rear feet. Okay, no inner damage, nothing, no laminitis. Front feet totally blown with laminitis, penetration, laminar wedge, you name it. Okay, but the back feet were fine. But one thing that's saved his back feet too was he had a pretty thick frog, and so they'd never cut the heels way down. But on the front feet, they just kept taking those heels down and taking those heels down, and taking those heels down. And so, the horse has a foot in there, and that capsule has to specifically fit that foot. Okay, so let's go over here. Okay, so I asked her to take pictures, and this is what happened over the next 4 days. Now, what's interesting is looking at this little injury or whatever it is here. Okay, so this is like day 2 or 3. These were taken over a period of 4 days, the minimum, okay, or max. Okay, so here you see that the hairline has raised. There's so many things you see here. You see that the hairline is raised. That means that this wall right here, as the bulbs were pulled up, because that horse's foot, the back of the foot wants to be, let's see, wants to be up here. That's where it's made to be. Okay. So everything in the foot, all the ligaments, all the tendons, all the bones, all the everything in the foot is pulling or pushing this horse's foot to be here. Okay. Forces. There are these forces at work. Well, this is just a shell. It's just a shell. And so as it's pulling up, this part of the hoof wall here is being pulled up, and it's being wrapped around behind the foot. And as it's being wrapped around behind the foot, the distance from here to here. Now, I could make these perfect same size, but regardless, the distance is getting shorter from here to here because this part here is now behind the foot and it's raised. Okay, look at the distance. Here's that dot. And here's the dot. And here's the back of the foot. See? And now, also something you want to look at. Look how nice. See, this horse had such a nice hairline right here in front where it converged into the capsule. But now look, there's a bump there. See? And look at the cartilage, how the cartilage was so straight, which is just like on the black horse. But now look at it. Okay, right here, it's rounded more. Okay, so let's go over to this foot. Now, what has happened here? Well, first of all, he started to bullnose a little bit here. Okay, right here, all of a sudden, it's jammed up weird. Right there. Look at where the dot is back here. Clear the back. And now look how rounded the cartilages are. And look at here, he had just a little bit of heel starting. Now he's got more heel. He made his own heel. The mechanical situation going on in this horse, he made his own heel. And so this was such like we knew they were making false heels, but we didn't know how they were making false heels exactly. And so this situation, when it happened, it was a pure revelation. It was an amazing discovery for all of us because see, if I'd have never seen this, if she hadn't made that mistake, we might never have known. See, so everybody that comes here, everybody that shares their horse's feed, they're contributing to the overall knowledge that we gain so we can help our own horses and then hopefully gather evidence that will be irrefutable that at some distant point in the future, when I get it all together to write it out, will show people how these things happen and why. See? So, yeah, so this was wonderful that this happened. And he never, of course, he made his own heels, so and look, here's another thing. Look at the angle of the pastern. Look how straight it is there, and now here he's got a little bit more, and here he's even more upright with this, or the angle changed more again with the pastern. So really, really, really interesting. Okay. Okay, now we want to take a quick look. We got about 5 more minutes because I'm only doing these for 2 hours. So we're going to look here at what the bottom of the foot looks like. Okay. Now, here, I want to show you this real quick. So we call this spooling. Okay, where these heels get curled in like that. And remember, I told you about how the sole gets compressed. See, and that's when a lot of times you're going to get the retained sole in there and things like that. Okay, so I think this was a front foot. Okay, and so this is what happened when they took the heels down on this front foot. Okay, so this was before, right here. And she didn't take the heels down as much on the front feet as she did on the back feet. But I want you to see the difference in the 2 feet. What happened? Now, this looks more like the foot that we're looking at today. Okay, so you can see how these heels come around like this. Okay, so because this wild horse, his hairline should be up here, and his cartilages should be full extended like this. Okay, so he's already had quite a bit of his foot trimmed out. But now look at the difference. Again, this was in several days that this happened. So so this is what she started with. Well, I can't, yeah, because I'm pretty sure she was taking these over several days, something like that. So this must be, maybe this was a before trim. I can't really remember. But regardless, I want you to see how the foot changed when the heel was taken down. Um, Look, first of all, at the angle of the heel. Remember, I said it draws everything at an angle. Now, keep remembering that the whole time we're taking the heels down on these horses, the foot is not made to be down. So the foot and the leg and the bones and the ligaments and the tendons and all the tissues and the digital cushion and the frog and the cartilages and the bones clear up into the knee and the shoulder and the back, everything is pulling that foot back up where it's supposed to be. You know, your body parts belong in a certain location, right? So that's what's going on here. Everything is wanting that foot to be back up. Okay, so look at what it did to the heels. It didn't just curl them around, it bent them severely. Yep. Okay, just a minute here. Okay. Let's see what else we got going here. Okay, so I marked those. Now here is the inner foot. Right here, I put these together and then I did a simulation of what can happen. I already showed you a foot that was like that practically. That's how much, see, that foot can be compressed up to a fourth of it. Those cartilages and heels can be totally pulled down, wrapped around. Now, when I did this simulation here, now this is interesting because this was my mare's foot. All right. And at the time she died, I was restoring her heels and stuff like that. But at the time I was looking at her foot, I did not know that her that the coronary band, the part that grew the heel buttress, was wrapped around the back of her foot and not sticking out. So she still had false heels. See, this should go like this. and instead it's wrapped around and flat and wrapped around in towards the frog. And so here's a horse, a wild horse, and you can see that coronary band nubbin there that grows the heel buttress sticking out. See, that grows the heel buttress sticking out. And so when horses have their heels continually trimmed out, this gets wrapped around the back of their foot and they no longer have a real heel buttress. And so that was the state of my mare when she died. Now, did she have what looked like heel? Yeah. At the time, I did not know it was still false heel. Hadn't understood that yet. But I was understanding that the back part of this foot could be manipulated and bent. See, I hadn't done those dissections yet where I skinned the foot and you can see how the cartilage moves around, things like that. Let's see here. Okay. Undo that, clear all drawings. Get rid of you. Okay, so if you keep going, you can wind up with the foot like this, or if the dorsal wall does not hold, see, because what is happening to the coffin bone in this foot? You know, uh, let's see here. Okay, coffin bone's here. Getting a little steeper here. Even a little more steeper here. Get a more steeper here, and by the time you get over here, okay, so what's going on with that coffin bone? It's rotating. What's happening when it's rotating? Well, here it might be like this, and then it might be a little bit more up like that, and a little more up like so, and a little more. But by here, it's like this. See, because this anatomy pushes in and shoves it forward on the joint. It's hooked on a joint up here, right? So then if somebody came in here, now again, here the dorsal wall held, they'd say, oh, that's a club foot. Okay, but let's say the dorsal wall didn't hold, and instead, as the coffin bone was tipping back this way, this dorsal wall was going out this way. See? Well, then they'd look at this, and because look, these horses can look like they have heel. Okay? But it's not real heel. It's false heel. And so in an x-ray, you don't know that. And so you look at it and you say, well, this horse had high heels, and that is why the foot rotated. And so that is why mechanical laminitis happens. Okay, now, not to say that that couldn't happen on occasion, but 99 times out of 100, what's happened is the heel, because everybody trims heels out. The farriers trim the heels out, the barefooters trim, the podiatrists, all of them. Okay, they all trim heels out, and this will happen to every single foot to one degree or another. Just depends on whether that dorsal wall holds or lets loose. And so what do? We grow back the heels and replace the capsule. And so as you're growing in more foot back here, this coffin bone is able to once again, relax and come down. And then it's not pulling back away from the dorsal wall anymore. Well, okay. It is now something time. Okay. Hi, Tiffany. I just seen you there. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for
Okay.
having us.
I'm sorry, what?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, hey. Yeah, hey, it's great for us to be together again here. I had a long vacation. Okay, let's see here. All right, so any questions? Are people kinda understanding how these feet get distorted when you're trimming the heels out?
Yes, thanks, Linda. It really makes a big difference listening
Uh,
to all this again.
Man, well, see, and we got to listen to it over and over and over again because it is kind of complicated. You know, like I said, you got a 15D object going on here. You know, pretty much proves there has to be a God. Proves there has to be a God because it's the one thing that has stumped mankind, you know, since whenever. Um, so anyway, uh, that's all I am going to share today. Surely love y'all, and I hope you have a great time trimming this week, and that your horse's feet do well. And I'm going to be here 3 times a week, um, just doing the 2 hours instead of one day a week doing 6 hours. Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Linda. God bless everyone, and God bless you, Linda.
Okay. God bless you too, hun. Okay, guys, we're going to call it a day. Thank you. Let's see. Now I just have to figure out how to get out of here. Okay. Hi, Margaret Justice. I don't think I know. Let's see. I like that last name though.